Hello geeks, today I want to show you a building tip, and this is something that is going to work with Structures Plus, and it is a way to sort of put a little bit of trim under a bit of wooden fence. So I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'm going to show you it in context in my harbor town that I've been building, and we're going to go ahead and start here. These are vanilla stone foundations. You can use S Plus if you like, and then these are vanilla ooh, that's a weird snap point. These are vanilla fence foundations, wooden ones. And these ones look best, and they have to be vanilla, no matter what you do, as far as I know. Because S Plus fence foundations won't snap like that. Now, if you were to go ahead and wreck this, that fence foundation is going to fall apart. That one will stay, but watch. Everything falls apart, right? So I'm looking at the ways to keep a fence foundation hovering in the air. And as you saw there, if, for example, oh, you know what? We picked a bad spot. Let's start over. If, for example, you did this, and you wanted, say, a line of 4 of them, and you did your fence foundations across here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you could destroy the 2 foundations. Whoa. In the middle? Apparently not. All right. Well, let's work on a technique that works. I thought I'd figured something out on the fly there. Okay, so a couple of fence foundations, and we are going to make them float in the air when we are done. And they're basically going to form trim to the bottom of a wooden fence. So let's do that, and we're going to take some wooden pillars on the corners. And these are not necessary, but I like them for decoration. And I'll show you this is what I've been doing in my village. Now what we need to do is have this touch the ground. So if you rotate snap points, well, it's not really essential, but realistically I would like to get the pillar snap point that is just below that so that it is touching the ground. But the thing that is going to keep it all floating is the Structures Plus fence or railing. Now there are a couple of different snap points here. That is snapped to our fence foundation. That is snapped to the stone foundation. So let's go ahead and pick it up. And S Plus stuff will not require foundation support in the same way that your vanilla builds will. So let's go ahead and do this, like so. Now our fence foundations can come out, or our main foundations can come out, and those fences, the fence foundations, are held in place by the railings, and you end up with something that looks like a slightly different version of a railing. Now, if this pillar were to go all the way to the ground, which it won't do for me, that would be cool. But otherwise, this is what we're looking at. Let's go over to the village over here, and I'll show you this in context. All right, guys, here are a couple different versions of it. Right here, what you get is just a little bit of trim to make sure that the bottom of that railing isn't floating in space. And then if you come over here, what you get is a nice clean line underneath a floating railing. And I went and put a pillar here in the middle. It is not necessary, but it basically takes these fence foundations and allows them to come all the way to the ground. So let's go ahead and do that. For me, this is a great technique for a variation on a railing. So let's go ahead and turn off the HUD. This is Cole Harbor. If you haven't checked out my series Building Evolved, go ahead and do that, popping up on your screen, and it'll pop up at the end of the video. I did this to make some very unique fence sort of railings along the side of my docks. And we're using a bunch of mods, but most of what I've built is with vanilla or vanilla and Structures Plus. Now this dock needs some railings. I give it some very basic ones here, but I'll go ahead and show you how I did the railings for this design. Let's turn on the HUD so that we can see what we're doing. And we're going to start by doing a wall, like so, and like so. And now, because this is Structures Plus walls, guys, that wall can come out. If you didn't use, you're going to need Structures Plus, but if you didn't, you would have to do something like this in order to support it and keep it floating. I don't know which of those snap points is right, but if these were vanilla walls, you'd have to have a pillar like that in order to keep this hovering in the air. We don't need that, so we can go ahead and remove these, like so. And now, what we can do is hang underneath that a railing. Perfect. So that is the way that I was doing it. Now, how do we get the fence foundation to go under there at this half height? Well, a beautiful thing about S Plus is that fences, the railings, can be used as a snap point. So if we put a second one down there, we should be able to snap off with a hold on, a ceiling, like so. And obviously we have the no clip method on clipping into some of these decor items, and we can pick this up, and now that we have that edge there, we can use it for a fence foundation and a vanilla one. So there are going to be 2 on the edge here. We're going to choose the one that looks best. Neither one is perfectly in line. That one looks a little better. Now, as far as I understand it, we'll find out in a second, and you know what, let's just double it up in case one works and the other doesn't. That railing on top is going to hold those in place. So let's remove this, and it did, and we'll remove that, and it did. Now, the double actually works. It's perfectly centered between them. If you wanted to, you could just choose one and leave it like that, and you now have a railing that looks like this. If you'd like to carry it along, the best thing in the world to do is to maintain the snap points that you have before taking down the ceilings so that you can build all the way across with ceilings, snap all the way below with those. But my favorite part is that, well, with Structures Plus, you have a snap point on the corner of your foundations, but this this fence foundation actually provides a snap point too. So if we look here, there is one right there on the fence foundation, and there's one right there on the corner of the foundation. You can use this and trim off the edges like that, and you end up with something pretty neat, a little bit different looking, and it's a totally different style of railing. I have used it extensively throughout here, and I think it's a cool technique. I wanted to take a second and show you, but that does it for this little tips and tricks video, guys. A new way to do a railing, and if you are interested in me and my building style, you gotta come here and check out Ark Building Evolved. This is the harbor town in all its glory as it comes to life. As I continue building here, I will continue to think up new things that will work for a tips and tricks video, and I will bring them to you. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I'm UTC, this is Cole Harbor, and my first building tips video, and I'll be back in your life in the next one.